All right, we're live.
Hi.
Welcome back to season 5 of Honestea Talks. I'm Ranjita Singh, aka Dr. Ronnie.
And I am Ashley Peña, aka Peña Pequeña.
Welcome back.
I'm so excited. We've been
Me
doing this for
too.
so long. It's amazing.
I know it was a nice little break. I like this. What
Mhm.
we're starting, like
Yeah,
taking a
definitely.
little break, doing like seasons. Like I like it.
Me too. I'm so excited. I love that structure.
Yes. What did you do during your break?
So, what did I do during my break? I did a lot of self reflection. I have been, like I shared with you, I've been working with a lot more clients for
Oh
Reiki
yeah.
from everywhere. It's so crazy. Like when I had spoken to you, it was really just people. Like what was cool about it was that I was working with people from Asia, but
Oh
then like now I've started working with people in Europe. Like it's been
oh
so, yeah, it's been
nice.
so cool. Yeah, I'm very very grateful because it's like, I mean, Reiki in itself just teaches us that energy doesn't have limitation or anything like that. But, you know, we still do have certain limitations because it's not like I'm in Europe and in Asia right now, like,
Yeah.
and even if I do go, it's not like I'm there for work or there, like I'd be there visiting. So it's really cool to be able to work with people
Yeah.
that I probably would never come into contact with or work with if not
Yeah,
for,
that's so cool. And
right?
you get kind of like a little insight and inside advice if you ever go there,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like I'm sure they
Absolutely.
talk about what they're experiencing in those places.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what's been so cool too about it is that everybody that I've spoken to feels so similarly. Like they
Mhm.
really are really going through this whole year, have been going through like last year and everything in a
Yeah.
very similar way, despite like the differences and like the cultural differences and just like, the differences in each country. They
Yeah.
still are like experiencing the same, heaviness of it all. And that's why a lot of them are like, hi, I need this session today
Yeah.
because of almost the same thing. Like they're almost all reaching out for the same reasons.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see that too, that although there are differences, right, within our lives, at the same time we're like so connected and we're like mirrors of each other, right? So
I
it's
love that you
awesome.
said that because that's the whole premise of how we started these honesty talks, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we look different, but yet there's so many similarities. And it
Exactly.
goes to show how universal, when the world is facing something, how universal the emotions are,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
It may be
Yes,
expressed in a different language, but the emotions are still the same. What you
definitely.
feel as a human is still going to be similar to what you feel as a human in another country,
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah, absolutely. You said that so perfectly. And I think it's important, right? Like now
Yeah.
more than ever to just, and even in the situations where there are differences, just like with us, maybe in appearance or maybe in religion or maybe in language, there's just still so many similarities. And there's the differences allow us the opportunity to have conversations and to
Yeah.
learn about each other and to grow
Hmm.
and to understand different perspectives. Because and the things that I maybe don't understand or they don't understand because of how we grew up in a totally different way and are living a different experience, we get to share that and grow and kind of like connect because of those differences instead of seeing it as like, no, we're different.
Yeah.
It's like
Yep.
so cool. I love it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, so
Okay.
excited. And what
So,
about you? What have you
oh,
done?
what have I done? I took a trip. I went to Maui.
Yes.
Maui was booked before quarantine started. Literally, the confirmation that I got was the week before quarantine started.
Wow, that's
So it was
crazy.
kind of off my mind up until around November, where I was like, okay, I need to either decide if I'm not going to go or book a plane ticket.
Hmm.
And I booked a plane ticket because there was deals. And so I went at the beginning of February, and it was just what my soul needed. Like rest and relaxation, fun, peace, just so many divine things. Like whether it's grabbing a book you haven't grabbed in forever because something's telling you to take it on this trip, and then you open it and start reading it on the trip, and then it's just like, like
Yes.
mind blowing, and like this is exactly where I'm meant to be at this very moment. And
Of course.
it felt good to come back from that trip because, like I said, it was what my soul needed. And it was like a reset button had been pushed on me. And reflecting back, like you said, a lot of self-reflection in the last few weeks. And upon return, it was reflecting back on the year, actually, and where I realized I was being lazy, not complacent with like some of my own beliefs, you know? And it's like, I think it's good to check in with yourself periodically to see if you're still on the track that you want to be on, that feels right and feels aligned.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, so since I've been back, I've been like implementing what I've been reading. And my favorite thing, something I'm like, nope, it doesn't need thought energy. Like now I'm like calling it thought energy. So like, I don't need to feed any thought energy because all that does is waste time. I'm sitting here driving. Let me drive where I'm at instead of wandering in my mind somewhere else. Like,
Absolutely.
it doesn't deserve that thought energy. So that's like my new term right now.
I love that. That's great. That's powerful. And I think that's important because you have to kind of speak what resonates with you, because it allows you to take control of your situations and your mind. And I think that there's so many different ways of explaining that, what you just said, but that's the way that resonates with you the most. And that's super powerful, the fact that you've been able to do that, and that trip this time was able to bring to light the importance of that and allow you to check in with yourself, because I think that that's something that a lot of people don't do. And it makes it difficult to really hold yourself accountable and say like, okay, what can I do different, and what can I do better, and what can I change, and what can I improve in? Like, we have to do that in order to grow, in order to flourish. And if we don't do that, and we're not holding ourselves accountable, and no one else is holding ourselves accountable, then it's going to be really difficult to improve our experience, to enhance our experience, to feel better, to do better, and to experience better. So I'm so glad that you've been able to experience that. That's powerful.
Yes, me too. Okay, so it was your idea, so I'll let you introduce today's topic.
Yes. So today, I thought it would be a good idea, especially because we're coming back from our little break. I thought it would be a great idea to share with each other. I actually was inspired to do this because I see this channel. I don't know what the channel is called, but I see sometimes that they post videos where either the people ask each other certain like deep questions, or they share with whoever they're with, whether it's a friend or family member, like a few things that they appreciate or love from the other person. And I think that that's such a powerful activity or exercise, because like it's good to know why the people that love you, because I think that everybody loves you sometimes, or like anybody, for different reasons. Sometimes it's the same, but sometimes there are things that maybe you don't see about yourself that they see, or maybe that others don't see about you that they see because of the relationship that they have with you, the unique relationship they have with you. So I thought it would be a great idea for us to share with each other today what we love about one another, and also a couple things that we love about ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
So who's going first? Am I going first?
If you want. So we could do it like you do one and then I do one. That's kind of like the structure that I've seen.
Okay.
And I don't know how many you have or how many you would like to say. But then towards the end, we can just share what we love about ourselves.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I will start. One of the first things that came to mind when you told me about this topic was how much I love what I've learned from you. Because you've taken, and this is me, almost 38-year-old, speaking this about someone. You're 12 years younger than me.
Wow.
So a lot of times older people are closed off to learning something from someone younger, but I'm so grateful because you led by example in your body positivity and stepping outside of your comfort zone. And I witnessed you do it, like at Crunch, like when you started working out with just the sports bra, like things like that. So like seeing you step out of your comfort zone, it inspired me to do the same. And that's one of the things I love about you, because sometimes you're that person that not sometimes, a lot of times with a lot of things, you're that person that takes that first step in order to let other people know, like, it's okay to do this.
Thank you.
So that's the first thing that came to mind for me.
Thank you. You're making me emotional. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying that. I think that, I mean, you know how I feel about age, right? Like I
Yeah.
learned from people younger than me and learned from people older than me. And I think that it's really a blessing, because I've learned just as much from you. You know, I think that it's so powerful what we can help each other do. And that's
Yeah.
a huge reason why I even do that. I do more things despite my discomfort and fear because I know it's going to help people feel the same way, you know, and want to do things that maybe they're scared of doing. So
Yeah.
thank you for seeing that. Thank you for seeing me. What I love about you, one of the things that I love most about you, and this is something that you're so consistent with, something that like is just you, I think. You are so passionate about like protecting and defending others. There's been so many situations where, you know, either you'll share with me what maybe someone else was going through, even just talking about like I'm enraged about you know, like this person and what they went through, even if you don't know them, you know, like you're so passionate about making sure that people are treated the way that they deserve to be treated. And I don't know if you're aware like how much you do this, but
I know I'm not.
oh my gosh, you are like, even just the way from when I first met you, you know, like you really care about like the greater good of humanity. And if there's something that you're like not sure of, or something that you feel is like wrong, or if you feel like people are treated unfairly, you're really passionate about that. And I think that that's so important and so beautiful about you, and something that I've always noticed, and you do it all the
Oh,
time, and
you're
you
gonna
do
make
it
me
so
cry.
naturally. Oh, yeah, this might happen just so
This
that
is not
everybody knows.
something I know this, because that's not like, it's not the stuff you hear all the time, like you said, you know, or even realize if people notice it,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know?
I definitely notice it. It's something that, I mean, that's why I love this exercise, because everybody sees, even though, yeah, like most people that love you and know me see similar sides of you and I, right?
Yeah.
But based on each relationship, people are gonna see, I don't know, I guess also because we live together. So it's like we talked all the time, you
Yeah.
know, and we talk often, and our conversations are very deep and powerful. And we talk about like very painful yet
Yeah.
beautiful and emotional things. So
Yeah.
the things I've seen and noticed, maybe you don't notice, maybe others don't notice. And that's why I think this is so important, because that is something that I admire and love about you. You really are like, you don't take shit. You're like, no, that's wrong. And you'll have conversations. You're like, no, this is wrong because of XYZ. Like you really are. I feel even like if there was ever a time where maybe someone was doing something to me or saying something to me, that you would be quick to defend me. And I admire and appreciate that about you.
Aw. I don't cry often anymore.
I know. Oh my
So
God.
even if a little wells up, it's like, whoa.
That's very good. Well, exercises like this is normal if that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. One of the other things I love about you, and I know we have to go one at a time. So the first other thing will be your ability to always have that smile on your face. Like,
Oh,
no matter what you're going through, even, and again, this is because I've lived with you, even
yes.
if you're going through like shitty things, you will still have this smile.
Oh my God, I can't.
And it's like, it's what Flora used to say, you're effervescent. You're like, it's another word for bubbly, but it's like, you're effervescent.
Oh my God, thank you.
Is that smile has the ability to change a mood. Like, yeah.
Yes. I'm glad I think that that's why it was given to me. And why like it's so hard to turn it off. I don't know. It's just me.
Like, I could just have the shittiest day and like walk in and you could make one of those faces, or you could just smile and it'd be like, okay, nothing else matters.
Oh my God, I love that. I'm so so glad. That's like one of my greatest superpowers, I feel. And I'm so glad that that's something that has impacted you. I love that. And sometimes I do it consciously, you know. Sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna smile, make this person's day, you know. But sometimes I'm just like la 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 in my own world because that's who I am, you know. And
Yes.
I love that I can bring that to the world. That's great. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Okay. Another thing that I absolutely love about you, and I know you know this because we've talked about this before, but I love how adaptable you are. That is the word, right?
Mm-hmm.
Adaptable. You have been in so many different places, in so many different positions in the world, like literally, physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually, and you adapt to it all.
Yeah.
And I love that because I'm like that in many ways, but I think that it's so cool that you have literally been in like different places in the world too. And no matter what, you're like, let's do this thing, you know, like even if it's challenging, even if it challenges you or it you know changes you, you always make it a point to grow from every experience and to embrace every experience. And I think that's so important, and that really goes to show how much you've grown because you embrace it all and you learn from everything and you grow from everything. And it's because you're like, well, this is the situation I'm in, let's adapt,
Yeah.
instead of like, fuck this, I don't want to do it, you know, which is kind of what a lot of us do naturally. We're just like, no, I don't want to experience this. But you're like, let's go, you know, like let's experience it. And I freaking love that.
I feel like what you just said about yourself in the last one, I feel like that is my superpower.
For sure. For sure.
That I always used to say, like, I'm like a chameleon. I'll go and blend in anywhere.
You really are. That's so great.
And it's not in the sense of like, you know, sometimes people will be like, well, they're like this over here, or they're like that over here. It's like I'm still who I am, but I just, like you said, I'm like, well, I can't change what's happening, so I have to just deal with it
Exactly.
and just get through it. It's funny because I actually posted today. I got back on Instagram.
I saw that. I just recently saw that.
I posted a question about that, and it has to do with
Oh,
like, how
wow.
many times are you willing to start over?
Oh.
Because I believe it has to show. I believe it shows your resiliency.
100%.
Yeah.
I think if more people knew that and embrace that discomfort, because it's uncomfortable, right? Like I've done it many times,
Yes.
and that's why I love that about you, because I know that if, let's say, tomorrow I was like, Ronnie, let's move to New Zealand, you'd be like, okay, cool, let's do it. You know, like if opportunities, or even if they didn't open up, honestly, we would do anyway. Like even if you were to decide on your own, like, you know what, I'm gonna try this new place because I feel like it, you do it and you thrive. Even if you fell, even if you failed along the way, like you would thrive regardless, because you would embrace the journey and embrace the process and experience,
Yeah.
and learn and grow from it. And I think sometimes most of the time that's really difficult for people. They're like, no, I don't want to do that. Excuse me. I don't want to, you know, feel uncomfortable, and I don't want to, but that's part, like the huge part of growth. And when you adapt, and like you said, adapting is different than like changing you to mold, right? But when you like embrace your experience, you really learn so much about new places, about yourself in new places, about different cultures and different environments and different, I mean, it really allows you to just be resilient and take on anything that comes your way. Because if you fall, you're like, okay, well, what did I learn from this? You know, like, how is this going to serve me in my future experiences? It's a very, very powerful thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's
Thank
the
you.
one thing I truly appreciate. Like, if someone can see that, I truly appreciate that. Like, because I've always felt that within myself. So for someone else to see it, it's just, it feels good.
Good. Yeah. I'm so glad. Yes. I see you, girl. I see you.
I know. One of the, okay, next thing.
Yes.
That I love about you is your ability to hold space in just listening sometimes. Like, I know me, like you said, we've had many conversations, and I've had conversations with you that I have not ever had with anyone else in life. And it's it was only because my soul felt that healing and felt comfortable enough to go through that healing in your presence. And so that's one thing I'm very grateful for you and I love about you is that you have that capacity to do so, to hold that space and help a healer heal, you know?
Yes. Oh, that was so beautiful. I'm beyond like to me that's like the best compliment or the best thing in the world. Like I know what it's like to not have anybody hold space for you, and or I also know what it's like to feel like even when you are held space that it's like not a safe environment, or it's
Yeah.
not like a space that you can fully be yourself,
Yeah.
like fully without being judged or without it feeling like an attack or without it feeling like too much, you know, just being
Yes.
you
Yeah.
at your lowest or at your highest, at just being you or whatever you feel and whatever you've experienced and going through. And I'm so grateful. Like, it really is an honor of mine to be able to have done that for you and for whoever else I've done that for, because I really believe that people deserve to just like talk, you know,
Yeah.
without fear of judgment,
Yeah.
without literally being judged, and without just so that someone can listen, you know, like
Exactly.
sometimes it's not even for a solution. It's just to
Yeah.
just release and talk. And so I'm honored to have been able to do that for you. Thank you for seeing that.
Thank you for being it because like I said, when you're always that person for others, it's like, who is going to be that for me?
Absolutely.
And the only reason that it felt comfortable with you is because it didn't feel judged. I was like, when we lived together, you saw like full on 100% Ronnie.
Yeah, I love
And
that.
it's why I still to this day say like, I need to find a man that's like Ashley.
Oh my God. You will. You know what's crazy is that like that ties into the next thing that I love about you, because so it's funny, in the last one that I mentioned about adaptability, you were like, but you know, I'm always myself. And another thing that popped out to me when I was like, you know, what is it that I love about this human being? It was the fact that like you are so real to you. Like, I don't know if this is something that only I've gotten to experience, because you have been 100% yourself with me, which I love, but you are always yourself. And you know, there are people which they don't do this on purpose. Like, I don't want to call them fake or anything, because
Yeah.
maybe they have had to adapt to their environments or to different
Yeah.
environments out of like protecting themselves. But you're always yourself. No matter where we go, no matter what environment we're in, you're like silly and playful and like hilarious and yet vulnerable, you know, and can get deep. So I really really just admire you, like the fact that you are you and have been you consistently with me since I first met you. Like, when even I remember, like I have this vivid memory of like one of the first times we didn't even really know each other like that, but the first times that I saw you, that you were at the gym and you like ran to talk to that guy. Do you remember?
Oh!
In the rain, in the rain, and I remember being like, I remember being like, this girl is so fucking awesome. Like, we're gonna freaking be friends. And just every conversation I've had with you, you're just you 100%. Like, you've never, at least not with me, you've never changed that. You've never not been you.
Mm.
And I think, unfortunately, sometimes that's hard to come by, because I've been in spaces where I like know somebody and then we're in like a certain crowd or group of people and that's not who they are. You know,
Yeah.
they're like, I'm like, wait, who are you? You were not like this before, you know? Which again is something that maybe they've had to do in their lives.
Yeah.
But I love that you are just, I love all of you. I love that you're silly and playful, and in and it doesn't matter who you're around, this is who you're gonna be. And we've been around so many other people, you know, in other spaces and different environments together, and you've always just honored you. And I love that.
Well, I think you help bring that out in me too. Because the next thing that I will say that I love about you is that you allowed that inner child in me to come out. Like,
Yay.
Because if I look back on me like years before, there's only certain people I would be that way with.
Yeah.
But even then, not to the full extent of what a dork that I really am.
Oh my gosh.
But like, I think it also goes back to that adaptability thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I gauge it on where I'm at and what the situation is,
Yeah.
and that, like I said, it's I feel like that's my superpower. Like,
Sure.
I can go where I need to go and blend in as I need to blend in, but I also know when to let my guard down. But
Yeah.
you really helped bring that inner child out, like,
Yay.
and remind myself to play. And so that's the thing that I love about you, because you've got that bubbliness, naturally you want to reflect it, right? Like,
Yes.
if she's doing it, okay, it's okay for me to do it too.
That's so funny. Oh
Like
my gosh.
building the fort, or or just like the video you sent me the other day in slow motion in the spot. Like, it's just me goofing.
Oh my god, the best moments.
The fort.
Oh
Every
my
adult needs to build a fort. Whether you have
Right?
children or not, go back to your childhood.
You are the
and build a
child.
blanket fort.
Yes, you are the children. You are the
Yes.
children. Like, it's the most satisfying.
Oh, it was
What's
so fun.
awesome? Yeah, what's awesome too is that, like, I remember when we were starting it. At first, it was really difficult because we were like, "How the fuck do we do this? Like, how do you build a fort?" But when you switch your brain back to like, whoa, my hair, back to like child mode, your creativity just like
Whew.
does the thing, right? Because
Yeah.
our like logical adult brain, let's call it, was like, huh, this isn't working. Like, how does this work? But our child self was like, oh, easy. You put this here, then you use this, you use a rubber band, you use a broomstick.
We gotta get the TV under here so we can watch a movie.
It was so epic. It was amazing. And
Oh, what did we watch? We watched
Bring It On. We watched Bring It On.
Bring It On.
And Tarzan, I think we saw a Disney movie.
Oh yeah, because I hadn't seen that yet.
Yeah. Oh my god, amazing. I'm so glad. It's funny because I've definitely had moments too in my life where I was like, when I was with that person, I was not me.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that was because of like myself was not really honored by that person. Like, your true self is not going to be something that everybody's going to swallow and want to embrace or even enjoy. But
exactly.
I think when you can find people that like, I don't know, just like bring that out of you, and then you guys get to both like be all of you, it's just so amazing. I don't know, it's wonderful, because in some situations maybe you can't be yourself. Like, I know I've been in those situations, or I could, but then it compromised the relationship I had with another person because it was like too much for them, or not enough for them.
Yeah.
But I think that it's great that we're able to just be ourselves, because that to me is like freedom. Then you get to be anything that you want to be, or have to be in each present moment, so that if you're not doing the best, you can still be present with that person and be honored. But if you're like hyper, if you want to like go crazy and play, then you're still going to be honored. And I think that that's so amazing about our relationship.
Yes.
Is it my turn now?
I think so.
Okay. I think so too. Something that I love, and it's funny because I say this to everybody, even that doesn't know you. I'm like, because I talk about you, like to people that don't know you, because it's like, it's funny because when I was in California, I would talk to everybody that I knew over there about like my friends here that I grew up with, but now I came back here. So I'm like, let me talk to you guys about like my people from California,
Yeah.
And I'm always like, man, Ronnie would be down for this, like.
I don't know how many times I've said that to my man. I wish Ashley was here.
Right? It's like, we are so, I don't know, you're so down for anything. Like, and that's what made, I feel like, living together so fun, because it was, obviously we're not the same person, you know, and you don't have to be, but I think it's so important in friendships and relationships in general, that you kind of have like the same ability to be like, oh, cool, yeah, I'm down for that, even if I don't know what that is, or even if
Yeah.
I've never tried it, or even if it's something new, or even I love that you are down for anything. Like, you're just so fun and adventurous, and like, you're, because I guess you're adaptable, you're like, sure, let's try it. It's not, if there's anything that I do, I'm like, oh, I have to tell Ronnie, like, so she can come, because I know she's gonna want to come, and she's just gonna have such a great time, instead of like, I have even family members that I'm like, oh, let's do this, and they're like, no.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Like,
oh,
when I went to Maui, I found out about a nude beach, but I know my cousin
oh,
wouldn't go with me.
I would have been there.
I know. I was like, Ashley would have gone.
That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly how I feel about you. Like, if there's something that I'm like, obviously we do things by ourselves,
Yeah.
and that's cool. But most of the time, I'm like, Ronnie would super be down for this shit, and nobody else is, or like, even talking to my mom sometimes, I'm like, oh, we should do this, and she's like, yeah, yeah, let's do that. I'm like, let's tell Ronnie, because she'll be down for it, And I
Is that what
love
that
that.
text message was the other day?
That was one of them. That was one of the things. I was like, fuck it, let's do it, So many things. There's so many things that come up that I'm like, Ronnie would be so freaking down for this.
Oh, likewise. Or even moments where I'm like about to like do something weird, and I'm like, only Ashley gets this. Like,
Me too. Me too. Oh my
and it's
god.
not to say like we always had these moments either. Like, we
No,
also knew when we needed space,
for sure.
and we
For sure.
respected that decision when either of us needed that. And that leads me to my next thing that I love about you. I love that you were able to learn and create boundaries, because I saw that happen in you. Like, I witnessed you grow into that. And I learned how to create healthy ones from you.
Oh,
You implemented it first. And at first it was weird. And I was like, what the hell?
I know. No, I know.
I
I
didn't
know.
get this. But
Oh
but
my
when I
god.
started doing it myself, I realized the importance of it and why you needed to do it, because it's a game changer. And
Yes.
especially in the ability to come better for people, like, you have to be able to set those boundaries for yourself. And
Yes.
so that's one thing that I appreciate and love about you, is that
Oh,
I saw where you were before to like where you're at now in that topic. And
oh,
yeah, incredible.
thank you. Are you kidding me? Who would have thought that I would be here?
I know.
I never thought in my life that I would receive what you just shared with me, Like, I was the opposite. I did not know,
Yeah.
firsthand, that like I would come to you. In a lot of ways, you helped me as well, because you remember I would go to you and say like, Ronnie, I got myself in a situation. How do I say no? Like, I can't do it. I don't know what. How do I reject this person? Like, it was that hard. Like,
Yeah.
I get goosebumps still, because I did not know. I did not know how to do it. And in some scenarios, I was okay with doing it. And in others, I was just like, I don't know how to do this. And a
Yeah.
huge part of that was the fact that I also didn't know how to receive boundaries, because that was difficult for me. For me, that equated to like, this person doesn't love me, right? Or this
Mhm.
person wants to be far away from me, right? Like, why?
Yeah.
And so it is like, boundaries is so hard,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like, when you do it, even though it's uncomfortable and even though it's hard, because you're given signs constantly from the universe to set boundaries,
Yeah.
it's a very powerful tool, and it's not attached to like love or lack thereof.
Yeah.
And I think that allows us to feel better and to really show up for ourselves in a healthier way, and show up
Yeah.
for others in a healthier way,
Yeah.
because everyone deserves to have boundaries, physical boundaries, emotional boundaries, like, all of it is so important. So I'm very honored to for the fact that you said that, because it's taken a lot of work. And I'm so the same for you too. Like, I've seen you implement boundaries, and it's so healthy and so powerful. And I think that just when you yourself as a person set boundaries, it really inspires other people,
Yeah.
hopefully, to do the same, because
Yeah.
everybody deserves to have that tool in their toolbox, because it
Agreed.
is very, very powerful when
Yeah.
used correctly.
Yes, exactly. Because one thing that I want a little side note on that is
Mhm.
that boundaries are not the same as walls. Right.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's where that's that fine line, right? Like, are
Mhm.
you putting walls up or are you actually creating a healthy boundary? Like those are two different
Absolutely. Oh my God. I love that you said that, because it is a difference. I think there
things.
are a lot of people that think they have healthy boundaries because they have their walls up.
Yeah.
And like a perfect example of that is like my mom. We always talk about that because she's helped me a lot with setting boundaries, because
Yeah.
she is like hardcore, like what you just mentioned, walls. She's walls, okay? She's buildings, okay?
She's the Great Wall of China.
Thank you. Exactly. Right? Like, unless she like really, like, it's funny because the people that have allowed her to like shed those walls don't
Yeah.
really know that about her, but like, I grew up with her. So that is something that she struggles with, and that she's opened up to me about, even, and
Yeah.
how, like, when I need, even business, sometimes, like in business, sometimes I'm like, Mom, what I really want to say in this email is like, I hope you have a great day, la 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 la, because I'm so like soft in some ways, like very, very, like, I don't want to be mean. And she's
Yeah.
like, you're not being mean by being clear about your boundary. You're not
Yeah.
being mean, right? But then sometimes she'll tell me, like, is this message mean? And it's like, mean as fuck. And I'm like, yes, this is too much, you know? So it's like that perfect balance
Yeah.
is where we all want to be at, where we're not like completely covered because of fear and
Yeah.
because of trauma, right? That we don't have all these walls up because we're afraid to be like vulnerable and be loving and all of that, and open, right? We want to
Mhm.
have an open heart, but at the same time not so open that we're allowing everything and everybody to have access, right? So
Exactly.
that healthy
Exactly.
balance is super important. I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
So
So
it's my, I'm gonna do, because I think we've been even, right? Are we even,
yeah,
or?
I think so.
Okay, so I'm gonna do one more, and
Okay.
then we'll get into what we love about ourselves. We can
Okay.
probably mention 3 things, 4 things, whatever resonates with us. Okay.
Okay.
So I have many, many other things, just so you know. Just for the sake of time, I'm wrapping it up. But I love you for everything. Like, I love you completely. But something else that I absolutely love about you is that you are so committed to being better, to growing, to healing, to helping more people. Like, you are 100% committed through everything, like through everything that you go through everything that you face. Your purpose and your like goal is still like, okay, well, how can I grow through this? How can I rise above this? Like, how can I keep going and be better? How can I better serve myself? How can I better serve others? And I'm grateful that I'm surrounded by you and by people like that, but that's still something that's so rare.
Mm.
And I just admire you so much for being so committed to being a better version of yourself, and to healing, and doing whatever you have to do, whether it's like having an accountability partner, or holding yourself accountable, or being real with yourself, or sharing, like, your experiences with others. Like, you really are like committed, fully committed to this journey, and you have been since I met you. And that, hearing your journey and knowing like who you were when I met you, even though I loved you just as much, now I love you more. But like, I already loved you from the moment I met you, but even then, like, who you were compared to
Mm.
who you are now is just like, wow, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just incredible, the growth. And I know that that's infinite. I know that that's endless. I know that you're on this journey for life. And I truly believe that that's what this is all about. But not everybody is on that path and on that journey. So I am like so beyond proud of you. I'm so grateful to have been able to witness it. And I love you for how committed you are to loving you.
That's probably the best compliment I could ever get in life. Like, I like that you see that is just I'm speechless. You've left me speechless because that's literally, I can't stop.
No.
Like I'm so far into it that I just can't stop. And it's the fact that you can see that is incredible. Like, oh, I
Like, how can you
I'm
not see it?
speechless.
You know,
I'm speechless.
it's so amazing. It really is what you just said. You're like, I'm not stopped. Like, you're not gonna stop. And I think that that is the difference between like maybe someone that embarks on a journey to like reach one goal, right? Or to reach one thing or to have one thing. Like you embarked on this journey not for that, but to get to know yourself, to really grow in love with yourself, and to like enjoy this journey and the fullness of it forever, you know, for as long as you're on this journey with yourself. And that is definitely, I mean, for me, I see that clearly, and that radiates off of you. So I'm very, very, I can't wait. I can't wait for the rest of it. I love you so, so, so much.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, I think you should go first then with what you love about yourself.
Okay, so what am I doing all of them or just one right now?
How do you want to do it? I think you
I
said
don't know.
name off a few, right?
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna name off of you. I love that in my heart, like in my mind, right? You know how like you mentioned that I hold space for people and I allow them to like be themselves. I think some people like try to do that, you know, whether they're in a like industry or you know their purpose, they feel like their purpose is to hold space for others. But I feel like I love that I don't really have to try to do that. Like it comes very natural to me
Yeah.
to like hear somebody's story. Even when I was really little, I remember like maybe hearing other people be judged and thinking to myself like, no, they're perfect, you know, like even
Aw,
through
yeah.
their like struggles and everything. Like I just love that I have the ability to like see people and hear everything that they've done and have gone through, even if the things that they've gone through or have done have been really like not the best. I don't ever it doesn't ever cross my mind that they're like less or worthy of less or like deserving of judgment. Like I really believe that everybody is just like in their core beautiful and worthy of love, you know?
I want to speak right now on this because what you just said is one of the things I love about myself as well. And what that is because this is what I love about you too, because it's something that I love about me. We're reflections of one another, is that it's our ability to see the good in others, regardless of what they've done, how they've behaved. There's something within us that sees that in them.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's, I think, hard to come by these days. So it's a blessing to be in a circle that has that ability.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I mean, I love that about you too. It's really something that excuse me, I think it just takes a higher perspective, and sometimes that comes naturally to people, right? Like I don't know if it's because of empaths or what, I don't know, but it's something that like an innate ability to like even when I like sometimes I've heard stories of like horrific things, right? That I'm like, what the hell? Like how can that person be driven to do things like that?
Yeah.
You know, but I know that at their core, just and it's
Exactly.
just a knowing, right? I just know and feel at their core that they're just maybe lost, or I don't know, I just have love for them regardless, you know?
Yeah.
And
I never knew I had that ability until you said something one time where we were at oh my god, what is Aaron's gym around the corner from Max Fit?
oh my gosh, now it's Full Stirker.
Oh, that's right. It was Spartacore at that
Yeah,
time.
it was Spartacore. Yeah.
So we were in there and Matt came in and something was said about Ron Jeremy. And I said something where I was like on his side at some, like saying something positive about him because Matt had said something bad. And you called me out and you're like, no matter what, you always have something good to say about
Mm-hmm.
people. And I'm like, and that's when it dawned on me. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't realize I did that
Mm-hmm.
until you said it. And I was
Yeah.
like, from that moment forward, that stuck out in me like, oh, I love that about myself, that I have this innate ability to see the good in others.
Yes.
You
That's so
know?
important.
Yeah.
It's very important. I think that's a
Yeah.
beautiful quality to have, because like it doesn't mean that the harmful things that people do don't have consequences. It just means that despite that, they're still human beings, you know,
Yeah.
like
Something
there's
that maybe had happened to them that led them down that path.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
No one
And
is born evil. Like,
no,
yeah,
I truly believe that. I truly
I
believe that.
agree.
And even in situations where, like, you know, I've seen s- stories and documentaries where it's like they have a lineage of like psychopathic behavior, and it just so happened that they had this gene, right, when they were born. I think that even then, trauma adds to that. You know, like there's just so many layers to it. And
Yeah.
I think that nonetheless, I truly believe that human beings deserve love, and they deserve that
Agreed. Agreed.
that empathy, you know?
Yes. Okay, keep going with your
Um, that's great. No, I love that you
we
shared
both
that,
have the
because
same.
that,
One of them is the same.
yeah, we might have all of them the same.
Yeah.
Because I think that at our core, you know, like there are, what's cool and what I've learned about like friendships, relationships, is
Mhm.
that like what's most important to me is if at the core I'm like mirrored by the person that I'm surrounded by. So it doesn't have to mean that our personalities are anything the same or anything like that. It just means that like our core values
Yeah.
and what like mean the most to me. Like I can't be with somebody that's not empathetic, that doesn't
Yeah.
see things in that way, because it's like, what do you mean? That's a human being. You know, like if I'm
Yeah.
with somebody that judges people, you know, like for every little mistake that they make, it wouldn't work. So I think
Yeah.
that that's what's cool about like the relationship we have, is that we do mirror each other in a lot of different ways,
Mhm.
even with our differences, even with like our differences in other little things. We have like our core values are mirrored.
Yeah.
Okay, so something that else that I love about myself, I'm trying to say something that you didn't mention or that others don't really mention. um I love, okay, so I love that I am sensitive. Like this is something that I've always been. I remember when I was little, like feeling just like crying when like someone was mean to me or somebody else, or like even when something was beautiful. Like since I would watch like musicals since I was a kid and be like,
Yeah.
that was so beautiful, and cry. And like I used to resist that a lot, because it's like something that just comes really naturally to me, but is like not really embraced by others. A lot of
Yeah.
times people are like, you're so sensitive, or like, are you really crying? This scene is not even like that serious. Like I've gotten so much of that. And so a lot of me for a long time resisted that, because I was like, well, fine, then I won't be, you know, like even if I want to cry, I'm gonna hold it in. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, I embrace that so much, because I love that. Like, it's such a beautiful, I don't know, like, because I'm a sensitive soul, I guess, I feel so much emotion.
Yeah.
And when I allow myself to feel and release that, whether it's through like crying or through immense joy or gratitude, it's such a powerful feeling. Like, vibrationally, because of the fact that I embrace it now more than ever, it's so powerful. Like I love that, you know, like if someone tells me something and it strings my, I don't know, like my heartstrings just like flutter, and it brings this
Yeah.
emotion, whether it's like me blushing or me feeling like tears streaming down my face. I don't know. It's just a bodily experience, such a
Mm.
high, and such a something that I really love and appreciate about myself, because it also allows me the ability to really feel what everybody feels. Like when I'm
Yeah.
sitting with a person and they share with me a story, I can feel their emotions, like literally where they feel it in their body.
Yeah.
So it's almost become like a gift of mine, where I'm able to like really transmute it for them too, because I can directly feel what they're feeling. The
Yeah.
anger, the like pain, the emotion, the happiness, the joy. So I like am super sensitive to so much, and I love that about myself. Long story short. Yes. And I'm just gonna share one more, and then I'm passing it to you so that you can
Okay.
share with me what you love about yourself. Um, I love that I am. No, I don't want to say that because you said that. I don't know. I love that. Okay, one more thing. I love that it's easy for me to like fall in love with people, and not in a romantic way. But I noticed about myself that like if I meet somebody, and even if I don't really know them for a long time, like I'm like, I love them. You know, like I love you. And I notice sometimes it's weird for people because you're like, oh my gosh, I love you. And they're like, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
freak out. They freak out. And
Yeah.
it's like, what's wrong with that? You know, like, why can't I love you? You know what I'm saying? Even if
I agree 100% because I just read that in the 4 agreements, like being able to say it freely. And I tweeted it yesterday. I'm like, I haven't tweeted this in a while. I love you. Let's normalize saying I love you to strangers, to anyone. Like if you feel it in your heart to say it, just say it. And for some people, we need to normalize saying it in the household. You know, not everyone does that in their homes. And I remember having video calls with clients, and I would always end with "I love you, have a great day," and the smile I would see on their faces. It's like,
oh my god, yes.
Okay, this has to happen after every call now. Like,
yeah,
it.
For sure. And I think what you just said is a huge reason as to why it's difficult for people to feel it, because sometimes they don't hear it at home. Sometimes
it's been romanticized too.
Yeah, exactly. That's a huge reason why for friendships, right? It's like, oh my God. Like if I were to tell, which sucks because I say it anyway, like my best guy friends, I'm very blessed that the ones that have known me for a long time, like we said I love you way in the beginning, and we knew that it had nothing to do with anything romantic, right? But then I've also had situations where it's like you say that and they're like, whoa, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean you love me? And it's like, I love you, you know, and it has nothing to do with like wanting to be with you in that way. It's just my way of expressing the love that I have for you.
Exactly.
And it's hard. It's like a very taboo thing, which is crazy because it's such a beautiful, powerful emotion and energy that everybody deserves to feel. And we, like you said, we really do have to make it a point to normalize it and to just say, even if people take it a weird way, like the more they hear it, the better they'll feel about
it.
You know?
Exactly.
Because I'm going to say it regardless. I'm going to tell you I love the shit out of you, okay? And if that's weird, then whatever, you know.
Then I'm weird.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why I love you, girl. Yes. Okay, your turn.
My turn. Okay. Well, one of the things I said already, I love my ability to see the good in others and to love them regardless. One of the things that came to mind earlier was I love that I'm competitive because in the past it was detrimental to relationships because I didn't know how to use it properly. But I know it's innate in me to be competitive. And what's happening now is that competition is with myself. And so I think, like you stated earlier, right? Like I'm constantly on this journey of bettering myself. And that's where my competitiveness is at this point. It's how can I be better? How can I be that much better in my mindset, in my spirituality, in my emotional intelligence? Like, so I love that competitive nature that I have because I've been able to harness it in that way for me and my greater good, I'm able to have healthy competition like when I'm with others. So in the past as a child when I would be like the way I wanted it to, Now I'm like, okay, it's okay to let them win. It's okay to lose. It's okay. You know, like I'm
For
able to
sure.
take losses better now than I did
Mhm.
in the past.
Yeah. Well, that's really great. I love that you mentioned that because competitiveness is extremely healthy. Like
Yeah.
there's like research that shows that it's extremely great to be competitive and to compete with others. Like that's why it's really good to be in sports and all of that stuff. Like it's really healthy. But at the
Mhm.
same time, like you said, it requires that balance of like also knowing and accepting when you're not winning or
Yeah,
when you take a loss or when it's not even worth to compete, or when it's
exactly.
super beneficial to compete with yourself. Like I
Yeah.
think that being able to do that through your own self-reflection is so amazing. And I do love that about you too. I love that you're competitive. I remember when remember when we went to the brothers barbecue
Oh yeah.
and we played that game and I was with you. I was playing with you and I was like, we're gonna fucking win because I'm with Ronnie. Like I know that we're gonna win. And we did. We did win the game. Do you remember that? I love that
And
about
we were
you.
the only two girls playing. Everyone else was fully decked out, makeup, hair done, heels, and sitting on a bench.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I so wish that I went to school with you, so that you could help me be more competitive and so that I could always be on your team. I love it.
I have I have a story about that in when I was
Really?
so one of my personal struggles growing up is when I had to move to like an all white rich neighborhood and I had to start a brand new junior high. And so of course it was like PE and they were
Oh,
picking teams for I think it was softball or something. And I was the new girl, so they didn't pick me, right?
oh my
I was like
god.
one of the last people picked, and I felt so shitty about myself because I was picked like towards the end.
Hmm.
But then once I started playing, they were like, "Oh, oh shit, why didn't we pick her?" And so that kind of like boosted my ego.
Yes.
But my competitiveness inside was like, "Why aren't they picking me? Like I'm
Of
good at
course. But they regretted that shit
They
real
did.
quick.
They did. Yes.
That's hilarious. I love that.
Do I have to say one more?
Yes.
Um, I would have to say at this point in my life, I absolutely love my body. I absolutely love my body. Everything it does for me, everything I've put it through, it is resilient, just like my mindset, and it works in my favor. And I'm doing better and better each day at treating it as the temple that it is. But I absolutely, even my belly now.
Yes.
I love it. I love
I
all
love
of
that.
me.
Yes. Hello. Oh my God. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. And I
Yes.
part of me getting there was because you came into my life.
Oh,
Like,
I'm
yeah.
honored. That's all I want for the world. Like obviously there's so many layers to like self-love. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
not just like body love, but
Yeah.
because of like your culture, my culture, and society, there's
Yeah.
just so much conditioning when it comes to
Mhm.
like hating your body. It's just like we really were conditioned from like before we were created
Yep.
to not love this incredible temple that does everything for us,
Yes.
even when we do not treat it with love and
Yeah.
respect. It keeps us alive and then some.
Yep.
So it really is something that I'm very honored to be able to share because I've experienced what it's like to hate my body,
Yep.
and it's really powerful to be in a place where even when your mind is like, oh, but look at this, and oh, but look at that you can say like, dude, I love my body. Look at what my body's doing for me right now. Like I love
Mhm.
you and I respect you, and getting better at honoring that every day is the best. And I'm so beyond proud of you. Wow, I'm proud of us.
Yes. I am proud
That's
of us as
amazing.
well. This was a great episode. I'm so glad you picked this topic.
Yay! I'm so glad. I knew it would be great. I knew it would be
Yes.
just so powerful, and I'm so glad we did it. Thank you for doing it with me.
Me too. I love you.
I love you. I love all you guys. Thank you guys for watching.
Yes, thank you for tuning in. We will be back
Yes.
next week. We don't know the topic yet.
We don't know. We have no idea, but we'll figure it out.
Have a great week. We love you.
Bye,
And
everyone.
are we gonna try?
Oh, wait. It's been a while. Okay, let me back up a
Oh.
little bit. We got it.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Bye. See you next week.
Bye, everyone.